Thanks for tuning in again, guys, to another Helldivers 2 solo Deathless match. And this time we're on the bug front, and we are using a stealth build. So I know some of you really like stealth builds, some of you don't, but in this case, we're going to run a stealth build, and we're going to run my 4 orbital barrage build. I really like this build. This loadout allows you to take on bug breaches and bug nests very effectively from a distance without you having to endanger yourself. You have the scout armor. I ran the cookout here. I ran the cookout because I wanted to be able to stun enemies and be able to also hit flying shriekers. Now, I usually like spawning very close to the mega nest and getting that out of the way early. I usually throw like a walking barrage in on it, or a 380 barrage, to kind of loosen it up, and then I will come back later to finish it off after the barrages have killed most of the enemies that have spawned. Like the main enemies that are in the mega nest need to be killed. There's a lot of impalers. There's a lot of heavy units that need to be killed. So you can loosen that up like that. You can kill those guys off where it's easier when you come back, and then you also are destroying some bug holes while you are at it. Now I will say, if you spawn that one particular mega nest that has the long, big column tower, rock tower, it's very hard to do this because the barrage will hit that tower and not go in and hit the nest. So that's kind of annoying if it's that map. We're also running the ultimatum. We're mainly running the ultimatum just to be able to take down Bile Titans like that, or be able to take down any impalers or chargers we see, so that we have something to kill them with, since we don't have a support weapon. And if we find a support weapon, we will use a support weapon. Also taking the thermites just for like chargers, impalers, things like that. You can also destroy bug holes with them. If you throw it into the hole, it will destroy the bug hole. But the main goal of this playstyle is to honestly, you just got to keep moving, keep getting your resupplies, keep your ultimatum topped off, because you never know when you need it. Also, the ultimatum will destroy the Bile Titan holes, so you need it for that. And the orbital napalm barrage is excellent for destroying the eggs. Like like you saw before, like it's like one napalm barrage or to destroy one complete objective, main objective in this map. So basically, you just want to keep moving. And the stealth armor will help you out a lot here. This particular map is very, I guess, foggy, misty. So you have the ability to use stealth to the full extremity, and that helps. Helps you not get detected a lot, and you can basically move from objective to objective without having to worry about being detected and having these long fights, because you don't want that necessarily to happen when you're in 50 defense armor and you don't really have a support weapon. Like it'd be great to be able to have a grenade launcher, because that weapon obliterates bugs. Honestly, probably one of the best primaries. And I've done a video recently, Deathless, with the bugs, where I fought a lot of the bugs. I think I had like almost 1,000 kills, but it was with a blitzer. The only problem with the blitzer is you can kill shriekers like when they dive into you. It's not optimal though, so it can kind of get a little stressful. But yes, you can kill shriekers and stuff like that with it. But it's really good for just bugs in general, like any kind of bug, because it stuns them. And then taking the gas rover taking the gas rover really helps out a lot. And I want to do another video using that same setup with the blitzer and gas rover, because the gas rover keeps everything off of you, and it weakens them enough with that damage over time that the blitzer actually kills them fairly quickly. So it's pretty effective in that regard. And now we're coming up on a kind of a challenging situation here with a lot of these nests and things. You can also use the ultimatum from that distance to take out things behind you, but this is a 10-hole mega nest. Well, not a mega nest, but a very large, heavy nest. But we're going to throw in our walking barrage. Like I said, this is a 4 orbital build. It's used to hit and run basically, and it cannot work in all situations, but in this situation to where you're destroying something, it's very effective. On a defense mission like capture the flag, no, I would not bring this. If you're having to hold your line, I would prefer more of like gas mines. I would prefer more of even the autocannon sentry or the autocannon mech, just because you have to hold your line for a particular set of time. So you can play those defense missions by going in and throwing your gas mines down, and then going and destroying like a nest, coming back when your mines are fully reloaded to use again, and having 2 sets of gas mines on both sides of like the capture the flag. Throw in your mech, and then just hold your ground as best as you can there. That's a whole different strategy. But playing on one of these destroy missions, a good stealth build like this can definitely work very effectively. You have enough firepower to be able to take out any nest that you want, any objective that you want. And here we're able to actually, I think we find a grenade launcher. Yeah. No. After reviewing it, no. I think there was a grenade launcher right there on the ground and I didn't pick it up. That's crazy. That's crazy. That always spawns in that particular manner where you have the eats and you have the grenade launcher. But the eat will be okay if we can come across something that's heavy. So the barrage did pretty good work. We're going to go in there and throw in a thermite, and then we're going to move on to the next objective. And a setup such as this can be used to speed run some of these missions. Particularly don't prefer that style of play, but I will occasionally do these stealth runs, and I'm open for anything that works, you know, especially if you're solo. And here we actually pick up the machine gun, which can be useful. I was thinking, you know, in my mind, what if I have shriekers or, you know, whatever, and I can just fire away at them and kill them and take them out of the air very quickly. This particular planet seems to be very good for stealth. I don't know if it's just the spores everywhere or what, but you're not going to have to worry about being chased a lot. And then there we use the ultimatum to one-tap the spore spear. And we have apparently another spore spear, and you can look at the map, and the very small red dots are usually these spore spears that show up on the map. So we're going to try to make our way to that next spore spear. And in the distance we see we have a shrieker nest, so we have to really keep that in our mind, and when we get close to that, we got to take that thing down as quick as possible. The 120 barrage that I brought is excellent for taking that down and just running away. And then we'll use our cookout or our machine gun to take down the shriekers that spawn. And you can kill these spore spears with your thermites if you do not want to use the ultimatum. Now, in a group setting, if you're playing with other people, obviously everything's easier. You don't have to kill everything yourself. And you're probably not going to have as many supplies. So you run the supply pack. If you kind of want to run off solo and do your thing, then the supply pack will help you do that. So that would be my recommendation for if you want to play in a group. But being solo, you have plenty of supplies, just some resupply, summon ends, and then just supplies all over the map. So right here, you can go in there and destroy that lab station with a hell bomb. That would be the typical way, but you don't have to. You can use the 120 to destroy it and effectively stealth away so you don't aggro a lot of things. So I'm kind of getting into stealth mode here just to get a resupply dropped in, get my ultimatum topped off before I go to the next objective. And what I want to do now, it looks like we've done 3 side objectives. We know we have a shrieker nest, that's 4. So we have another nest right here. And then we just want to drop, I think we want to drop the 380 on it, because there's not a whole lot of enemies in there, it doesn't appear, but the 380 will get this job done. Because the 380 can splash and kill multiple enemies. But for safe reassurance, I dropped both. This is post-game commentary, by the way. I mean, obviously you knew that, but I dropped both barrages in there, and that's a little bit of overkill, but we're going to make our way to the next objective. We still have the mega nest to do. We still have one objective of destroying the eggs. We've done 3 side objectives. We know we have a shrieker nest coming up, and hopefully our 120, and then we run right into the siege artillery. Now we're going to load the siege artillery, and hopefully our stealth armor allows us to not be detected. And we just made a lot of racket over there back at that nest, so hopefully the enemies are going towards that. We got fairly lucky there with 3 shells being very close to the artillery site, and we have 2 more here, and I don't even care what they are. And we've got some bugs here, so we decide it's time to get out of there. And if I have a napalm barrage, I could probably throw that on there. I don't know if I do or not. We have a bile titan that will one-shot you if that hits you. So we're going to make our way south and go to whatever this is, some kind of nest or heavy nest, or maybe even, and it is a very large, very, very large heavy nest. So I don't know what I'm thinking here. I think that since everything is on cooldown, we just run past it and maybe go to another area. And at this point, you have to keep moving if you're playing this stealth playstyle. If you keep moving, the enemies will not follow you. They will lose track of you, especially if you have some line of sight. And we may circle back around here, but we may just go to our resupplies, get our stems back. And that's the advantage of dropping resupplies kind of everywhere. It's kind of like a checkpoint. Because if you're over here fighting and then, you expend all your resources, you've dropped a resupply in the past, you come back to your resupply as a checkpoint, and you're able to recover your stems, your ammunition, and stuff like that. So we get the one resupply down, and then we're going to go ahead and try to take out the last main objective. And I don't know if that's the right call, or apparently if you take out main objectives, I've read that it makes patrols spawn more. I don't know. I just do whatever feels right in the moment when I play solo. And at this moment, it felt right to go over here and destroy these eggs. Because I know where the Seaf is. I know where the Shrieker Nest is. I know I have the Mega Nest to do. I still have 25 or so minutes. And I'm thinking that I can get out of this map with plenty of time to spare. So we can. My goal is to drop a orbital napalm barrage on this. But what I've noticed, and even playing the mega cities, what I've noticed is it's harder. It's just like the mega nest that has the big towering column. It's harder to destroy nest and bug holes in general when there are city format, when there is a city format, like the buildings and stuff kind of shield the 380s and the 120s and the napalms from actually destroying the bug holes and destroying stuff like the eggs and stuff like that. So it kind of makes it hard to just be able to run and throw and get out. You actually have to go in and clean up some of the missed opportunities. So this is a perfect opportunity to resupply and kind of see what kind of damage our napalm barrage does. So we will resupply and we'll head back in and try to clean up anything that we have missed. It shouldn't be too difficult since the napalm barrage also basically destroys all kinds of different bugs very easily and leaves fire on the ground. So if they walk in it, they will die due to damage over time. But going back in should be fairly easy. There was a couple of, I don't know if it was last week or what, but there was missions to where they gave you a free orbital napalm barrage. So you could actually run 2 napalm barrages, which was freaking crazy. You could kill a lot of different things with that, and that was fun using that. I like the free stratagems that they give you based on the mission order or whatever the case is. But here we're just looking for 2 eggs. We destroyed everything but 2 eggs, so it shouldn't be too hard to find that. We just got to run around and see where it's at. So the bad thing about running around like this is I may draw a lot of attention to me if there's bug patrols and stuff like that. And here we see that's right there. I throw a thermite in, 2 thermites. That should be enough to do enough damage to kill those eggs. Now what we want to do is run back west. We got a mega nest to destroy. I didn't see how much damage our initial spawn in 380 and walking barrage did to it because we kind of moved on. Hopefully it took at least half of it out, and hopefully it took out a lot of the big units, because we really don't want to get into a fight with a bunch of impalers or behemoths. So we should be able to clean it up with either another 380 or 120, or if we did more than what we thought, we might be able to actually just run in and just throw grenades in, or ultimatums to the bug holes. And we've done pretty well. We haven't engaged in a lot of battles this match, so we've done pretty well at manipulating the bugs around to play the way that we want them to play. Because you want to play on your terms, you want to play on your ground and play. If it's your stealth style that you want to play, you want to definitely play that kind of style. And there we have an impaler. You've got to take those guys down if you see them, and if you're too far to run away. In this case, I did not want to have to like run around this guy. I just wanted to take him out because he would slow me down. But they can easily kill you if you let them burrow into the ground and the tentacles get going. They can make your life really rough. And in this situation, we were able to take out all but one bug hole. That was incredible. And that's why I like to spawn at the beginning of the match at the mega nest. That way you loosen it up and it's not so hard to deal with. Like I said before, there are some challenges sometimes with throwing the 380s and stuff at it, but for the most part, it's an excellent way of taking out at least that particular type and structure of mega nest. So what we're doing here is we know we have one more side objective to do, which actually we have two. We still have to complete the sieve, but we also have the shrieker nest that we saw earlier. So we have to get up there, kind of just watching the map here to see where enemies are. Don't want to run into a large patrol or something like that. So we now should be able to run in and take out this last bug hole nest. I want to head up towards the sieve artillery and finish that off. So we're just going to use our orbitals. This is why I really love using 4 orbitals, because I just basically mag dump my orbitals on this location and am able to just run away in stealth armor with high speed to get to the next location. I trust that I will be able to just effectively just walk away from the situation because I've got 3 of them on there, and by the time I get to the next area, most of my cooldowns will be either over or almost over, and I still have my orbital napalm barrage. If for some reason there's a large amount of enemies or there's a bug breach or something like that. So it's a very effective setup, and we were also able in this run to pick up the machine gun, which we haven't needed. So this stealth armor and movement speed has been doing a lot of work. So we've already got a lot of this artillery done, so we're just going to go ahead and activate it and get the shells loaded. We may need to get a few more shells. We'll need one more, but we're going to try to do this quickly before patrols can come and interrupt us again. So the sieve artillery can be very annoying at times, especially if you're on like heavy armor, but if you treat it, you have to be very, very fast when doing it. And if you treat it like a 2-step objective, for where if you do get interrupted, you can always come back and do the rest later, then it's actually a very effective way of completing it. And then we were not able to destroy that nest with all the fire, with all the stratagems that we threw at it. We were not able to destroy that, which is crazy. So there must be like at least 1 hole left, maybe 2, but the enemy should be dead, so we should be able to just run in and finish that off. So actually it looks like we had multiple holes here that was not clear, but still, you see the point of running the multiple barrages, that you basically are able to take out tons of holes, and then you're also able to just basically clear the area out, so you're not in any danger of taking damage. So with that being said, we should be able to move on to our next objective. We'll throw the napalm there to give us a little relief from the bugs that are chasing us, and then we'll move on. And right here I kind of lost track to where we were supposed to go. We threw that napalm barrage in to kind of get bugs off of us. I want to get a resupply in to make sure when we go to our next objective, I do have a full ultimatum and thermites, just in case we come across something like a heavy unit like a charger or a Valtine or something like that. But our main objective here is to get around the map and find the last side objective, which, like I said, I've kind of forgotten where it was. I should have looked at the map, and I don't know what I was thinking in the moment, since this is post game commentary. But I knew I wanted to make some space between this enemy and myself and this group, because I kind of got lucky there not to die. The Biosphere just kind of snuck up on me, and we took a good bit of damage there. And we're not running much defenses at all in the situation. We're running more speed and stealth. So I do like the stealth gameplay. It's probably not my favorite. I do like to run builds that are more engaging, but I do find the stealth to be very useful on all the fronts. And I have a stealthy build that I will upload probably after this one, where it was on the Illuminate front, which is one of my favorite fronts to fight on. Even though they can be kind of boring at times, but it's still fun. I had a similar scout armor setup that I used against the bots. It's obviously stealth is amazing because you get shot at less, and you can run around, and like if you're trying to destroy command bunkers or whatever, you can use this same type of setup for the bot front. But on the bot front, you have to be wary of being like just completely one shot by like a cannon turret or like a command bunker turret or whatever. At the mega fortress, you have all those turret sentries surrounding it, because those things can one shot you pretty easily with such low defenses. So you've got to use your stealth effectively to get kind of around those and be able to throw in your orbitals and such. So what we're doing here is we're kind of just going to go around the map and make our way up to extraction. We're going to find that Shrieker nest. We have a resupply that we dropped earlier in the match that we can use to get our stems back. We're not really worried about fighting anything. We keep our radar open to see if there's any incoming enemies. Keeping your radar open is a very effective thing to do, especially with scout armor. So you can actually avoid a lot of combat if needed, and we've pretty much done everything, so we want to be able to make our way up there and finish this match out without dying. So I have been testing a lot of different things out in different stratagems. I have a preferred setup versus all of the factions and different types of missions. I've been trying to make some different things work. One of the things that I really wish was better is the arc grenade launcher. I really like that weapon, but it just seems so clunky. It would seem like it would be effective versus the bugs and versus, even the Illuminate and even the bots, but the damage on it is so low. I would just rather prefer the regular grenade launcher, and the reload time for the weapon is just terrible. It loads one shot at a time, which makes no sense to me, because a lot of those kind of weapons have a fast reload where you can just like throw a full clip in. But I'd really like for that weapon to be buffed to where it's actually decent. And I know that in group play it used to be like bugged or something to where it actually did amazing damage and stuff, but for solo it did not have that increase in damage, and I think they may have fixed that bug. I don't play a whole lot in groups, so I wouldn't 100% know, but I would love to bring that weapon out on the front and be able to use that weapon effectively, because it's pretty cool being able to shoot out like grenades that spread out and do lightning damage and stun the enemies and stuff. But even if it did the same amount of damage that it does now, if it had just better ammo or better reload time, it would be it would feel much better. Also, some of my favorite things to bring onto the bug front, I would say some of the top tier items and stratagems. Obviously, you've got this kind of setup here with the orbitals, but I like the shield generator pack. If you want to play extra safe, you can bring the shield generator pack and be able to, not have to worry about getting one shot by impalers and stuff like that. You do not have to worry about being slowed by their bile spewing, because it will protect you. It will protect you from that. Also, like I said earlier, the gas dog rover keeps just about everything off of you. If you're using it with something like the cookout or the blitzer, then you're able to keep enemies off of you very effectively. The halt weapon, the halt is probably, honestly, overall, the halt is probably the best weapon to bring if you have a support weapon, because the stun from the halt is much better than something like the cookout or the blitzer. The halt will let you stun enemies for several seconds like a stun grenade, and then you can effectively swap to your grenade launcher or whatever you have as a secondary and kill them. You can use the halt in combination with like a guard dog, like your laser guard dog or even your gas guard dog, and really be able to just stun everyone and kill them with a guard dog. It also has an alternative mode of firing if you need to kill stuff like shriekers and such. But honestly, you should try it out because it's very effective at stunning enemies for long periods of time. It feels like a stun grenade when you use it. It has pretty decent ammo, so it's very effective, especially against the enhanced versions of the hunters and stalkers, to where it just seems like you cannot get away from them and they're everywhere. The halt is very good at taking those enemies out, as far as not letting you get overwhelmed. It gives you the ability to kill them with your support weapon. Also, I like using the anything like gas related, even gas grenades or gas. We've talked about gas mines. It's very effective versus the bugs. The mech suit, autocannon mech suit, is very effective. You can go into Mega Nest and really kill a lot of things there, take out holes effectively with the autocannon guns it has. It's also good for defense missions, as far as like capture the flag and stuff like that, raise the flag. The arc thrower against the bugs I like the arc thrower against the Illuminate and the bots. As far as against the bugs, it is effective, especially if you're in a group, but it is a little too slow for me because you're so overwhelmed, and you can use the jump pack and stuff like that, but if you're trying to use the arc thrower, you are probably wanting to fight things, and once you get into that, you're fighting off the bugs that are chasing you and stuff, so you're arcing. You're aggroing a lot of different types of bugs, and once they close in on you, the arc thrower does not activate, so you're not able to keep them off of you because it won't activate when they're in point blank range. That's one thing that the blitzer actually does. It activates. You can use the blitzer at point blank range. If you have the jump pack and you can use that to make range, but then you're probably going to be a bit squishier because you're not going to run heavy armor. Um, and in context of what I'm talking about solo. So pretty much, if you're running in group, you can run forks and spoons. You can run a backpack full of toilet tissue, and it's not as challenging when you have 3 people helping you out, and you have 20 reinforcements, and you have 16 stratagems you can use, and you got teamwork. I'm talking about just from a solo perspective. Now in a group, you can take something like the jump pack, the hover pack, with an art thrower. You can get up high on something while your teammates are down there, and you can just light things up, man. It's fun, it's effective, but I prefer using other stuff, and that's my favorite weapon. That's why I talk about it in all the videos. It's my favorite weapon. I do think it's good, and I've used it recently to get through a solo Deathless, Illuminate, and bot mission, and it's very good. I've also used the arc thrower guard dog with it. Very effective. It's very useful. I will attempt that setup against the bugs, and it'd be really cool if I can pull that off. I may do like a full lightning build, like a full arc thrower, blitzer, arc thrower, guard dog, Tesla tower. The only thing about the Tesla tower, it will get destroyed by like chargers, whereas like on the Illumina front, it's very tanky and it can handle multiple meat bobs like easily. So at this point in the map, I kind of want to use my stealth here to just kind of get a stealth escape. And honestly, I probably just should have went for extraction and then hid. But like I said, I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I really wanted to get out of this match without dying, and I wanted to do it successfully. So with that being said, I do have a stealth video with the Illuminate faction that I'm uploading. That'll be interesting to see how that compares to this one. The only thing about the Illuminate faction is you can't completely stealth like you do here, because you have those watchers that are always looking for you, and you can't hide from them, but a lot of times they will build up and you'll have multiple watchers that are looking for you, and any kind of sound will set them off. And I know the new Warbond that's coming out has a stealth kind of motive, and I think one of either the armor passive or the booster passive or something makes it to where your movements do not alert enemies as much, so it makes your movements like softer. I think it's the armor booster, and I don't necessarily know how that will compare to the scout, like which one is better at stealth. Like if it's the booster, then you can combine the two together and man, have really amazing stealth. I think they have some guns that are being released that have some silencers on them. That will be very cool, because a lot of the guns will alert enemies just by shooting them that are very, very loud. And there's not many silencers in the game at the moment that I do think plasma weapons are quieter, but something that is explosive or something that is really loud, like most of your guns in general, any kind of gun, tends to alert enemies your location, so it's harder to stealth. So I build like this though, where you don't have to fire a lot of your weapon, to where you're on an objective-based mission, to where you can take enemies out objectively, and missions out objectively with your orbitals and such like that, where you can just basically throw stuff in, run to the next objective, reload, rinse and repeat. You don't have to worry about aggroing a lot of things. A map that is a planet that has a diverse terrain system, like it has a lot of trees to hide you, a lot of mountain ranges, a lot of line of sight, is better to play. Like one like this is better for stealth, because you have the ability to obstruct your enemy's point of view. Maps that are more wide open, that have no fog, that have no trees, that have no mountains, or those maps are definitely harder to play stealth on, because enemies can see you from a longer line of sight, a longer field of view. But that's pretty much it for this game's commentary. I don't know how exciting people get when it comes to stealth. I find it kind of boring myself personally, because you're kind of just not engaging, you're kind of avoiding all the enemies. But I can acknowledge how effective it is, and I know a lot of people like watching it, but if you are one of those people that kind of like watching stealth, I do have another video coming out with the Illuminate faction, where I use stealth effectively, and stay tuned for that. But like I said, many different ways to play this game: stealth, non-stealth. I've done most of any kind of way to play it solo, and it really just depends on what kind of mood I'm in and what I want to try. Obviously, using the same old thing, like I have my favorite setup, my favorite builds, the ones I find the most effective, but using the same old thing all the time kind of gets boring. You want to try something different, or you want to be different, you want to use something that nobody else has. So there's a lot of diversity. Even though some things are better than others, it's still fun to try different things. So that's pretty much it for this commentary, and stick around to Extraction. You can see the stats at the end. I think I only had, I don't know, I may have even had less than 200 kills in this map. And being stealth, you want to have at least as few as possible. I think I watched a video of a guy, his name is Kibo, I think, where he actually used the warp pack to do a stealth run, and I think he had like no kills, and he was able to fully clear a map with that. That's crazy, with no kills. I'm not into like doing stuff like that, but I mean, even though that's kind of unique. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.